World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Yana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
Hello, and welcome once again to another fantastic Tuesday where your dressed down CEO host, Tyrone Glover, is coming to you live from Yonkers, New York. I want to thank you so much for making another one of our fantastic Tuesdays where we get to do what we do best, which is help you navigate that financial literacy space or navigate that financial space. We know that we are going through it. We know that it is challenging out there, and we know that we got a lot of work to do. And the beauty about doing that work is that once you get prepared, you will never have to worry about anything else again. Once you are set up for success, once you know what you have to do, life is going to give you a pretty much a pass. It's going to help you with being able to navigate that space more effectively, do the things that you need to do. And I know it's challenging out there, everybody. I know. I feel it myself. I know that we are going through it. And unfortunately, going through it is what's going to make you stronger on the end. Going through the challenges, the circumstances, the misunderstandings, the variety of challenges that we are all having to deal with. But if we go through them with a clear conscience, if we go through them with a clear mind, if we go through them with that faith, if we go through them with that understanding that everything that we do now will give us the opportunity to live out the life that we are attempting to live. So again, as always, thank you for making time. Thank you for coming to the channel, even if you're here with us now or attending later on, meaning watching the show at a later time frame. These shows are streamed live on Facebook, Meta. They're streamed live on YouTube. So please enjoy them at your leisure, but definitely tune in either live, tune in either at a later time frame. They are also streaming. Soul City programs are available nationally on Roku, Amazon, Fire TV, and Apple TV. We are out there doing what we must do to make sure that you have the things that you need. And financial literacy is a space where I'm telling you, if you get in front of it now, you will not be dealing with the repercussions later. If you take care of, because 24 and 25, those were preparations. We knew that we were going to be getting a new president, whether it's the one that you wanted or the one that you had hoped that would be in there. But nevertheless, if we do what we need to do, that was 24 and 25, preparing. 26 is execution. That means you have to be doing what cards you have been dealt. There's no more going in the past, no more thinking about, oh my God, I wish I could have, should have, would have. Nope, those days are over. You now have to execute according to the hand you were dealt. And if you do that, I'm already telling you, the success that you are going to have is going to be phenomenal, especially in this financial space. Yeah, we might have things going on which you don't understand. And I know I am catching up on a lot of that politics stuff, but I'm very well versed in this financial literacy space. And as I say all the time, this is not a politics show. This is a financial literacy show, but unfortunately, these things are intertwined. So I want to make sure that I'm giving you the best that I possibly can give. And I always put this invitation out there to anybody, anyone, any CEOs, any CFOs, any corporate executives, anybody in those spaces where you believe that the information that I'm giving is incorrect. You have an open invitation anytime you want to join the program, and let's do it. Let's make sure that we are giving value. And I know for a fact that I'm giving you value because I have not been challenged yet. I haven't been challenged by any banks, haven't been challenged by any institutions, haven't even been challenged by schools, financial, academia from any level. So what I'm doing clearly is resonating, and they are afraid. So ladies and gentlemen, it's time to do what we must do. Get out of your way. Focus on the things that you already know that you can do, and let's move that needle. All right. So we are going to be talking about today the wealth lab. We are now going through a change, and that change is going to be a positive change. We're looking at helping our students. We're looking at helping our adults, and we want to do what we can do best, which is helping everyone navigate this space. All right. So the space that we're focusing on today is going to be the economic emergency our youth inherited. The economic emergency our youth inherited. And it's something serious. So let them slides begin. And if you have any questions, concerns, comments, anything that you want to add, please do not hesitate to add them as we are going through the PowerPoint. All right. Questions, you can set them up in YouTube. You can set them up in Facebook. It doesn't matter. Those questions will come through, and we'll be able to answer those questions accordingly. All right. So let's go ahead. Let's make it happen. So let's get rid of that. Oh, my apologies. Go back to there. Now, and boom. All right, there we go. So the Wealth Lab, a Real Ones in the Room initiative. That's our new understanding that we are now focusing on, because what we want to do is we want to make sure that you have the best information. So in order to get the best information, get where you're going to have to be. You're going to have to be in the room. You're going to have to be in that space, building financial literacy for Yonkers, Westchester, the Hudson Valley, and the nation. We are a comprehensive funding proposal and impact framework. We are looking for all takers, all individuals who are in this space, knowing that our youth are going to be dealing with some circumstances that, again, they are inheriting what we as the past 7 generations have failed to do. And if we do our part, if we do what we must do, then you're going to have the help that you need. My apologies for that. But it looks like our slides got mixed up, but they're back up. And there we are. So my apologies for that. When you're doing a live show, there's anything that can happen. And it's the beauty of live. Whatever happens, our job is just to keep rolling with the punches. It's just that simple. But we love the fact that we're able to do what we're able to do. So we're going to jump right back in it. So again, the Wealth Lab, a Real Ones in the Room initiative, building financial literacy for Yonkers, Westchester, the Hudson Valley, and the nation. Comprehensive funding proposal and impact framework. Our job now is to help the youth. I have tried for 10 years. Well, not tried. I was actually pretty successful and very successful, to be honest with you, for the last 10 years. The last 10 years to make sure that our brethren and sisterin had what they need. Now, I know singular issues like credit, sometimes they take a little bit of a back seat to some individuals because they believe everything is going accordingly. But I know for a fact that as I opened up this understanding and looked deeper into, this is more of a larger umbrella, and it can't be a singular issue. But I'm always going to stick to my core, which is that credit profile, making sure that everyone understands what they have to do to make sure that your credit profile is A1. But now that we're diving into a couple of other areas, and believe it or not, these are our areas of expertise. And we will bring in those if you have specific questions, concerns, comments about whatever areas that you might want to explore. Please, by all means, send us an email, send us a text, send it through Soul City Network, and on the variety of different channels that are also available for you. All right, so the economic emergency our youth inherited. We're talking about that youth unemployment from 16 to 24, 10.4 to 10.8. Now, think about that for a minute. We're asking our youth to go into the workspace, but are we preparing them in that workspace? And I can tell you right now, we're not doing a good job. We are not doing a good job. This unemployment and also equally underemployment is a situation that if you really think about it, how do we make sure that our youth have what they're supposed to have? Well, you got to educate them first. And we are looking at this year, or actually, next year, as they roll out financial literacy in the state of New York. It's going to be a mandated item where individuals are going to have to get a full credit in order to graduate. And I'm looking forward to leading that charge. I want to call the Wealth Lab the hub of this curriculum, this financial literacy curriculum. We should be the ones leading, not JP Morgan Chase, not Wells Fargo, not Bank of America, not Fidelity, not any of these financial institutions that actually, again, put us in these problems, made sure that we were not capable, because if they really wanted to help, guess what they would have done a long time ago? Yes, they would have gotten in front of it, but they didn't. Now that we're 7 generations deep into our financial catastrophe and crises, oh, here they come now wanting to jump back in and say, okay, we can help out. Well, if you're going to help out, you're going to be working with individuals like myself, because you have to know your community in order to resolve the issues that your communities are going through. All right, consistently doubling the national rate. So 10.4 and 10.8, or to 10.8 is doubling the national rate. 2.5 million plus young people actively seeking full-time work. And we already know, those of us who are already in that working environment, already in that working space, you know, it's very challenging out there to get that full-time work. That full-time work is not coming in the manner in which it should, because there are barriers and there are blocks, hindrances that are keeping regular individuals. So you can just imagine what a student is going through. All right, college graduate students into job requiring experience, they were never given. All right, think about high school for a second, 9th through 12th. Can you imagine if businesses decided to make sure that our youth had, while they were going through school, opportunities to have summer jobs, where those businesses, whether they be in the malls, whether they be on the neighboring streets, or whatever that might look like, if they were to partner with academic facilities, giving our youth the opportunity to gain that knowledge, so they're graduating with 4 years of work experience. That looks very good on a resume as a boss myself, as someone who has interviewed hundreds, if not thousands of individuals over the course of my 30 years of working for corporate America. We have to think about more strategic ways of making sure that our youth are prepared prior to entering into that workspace. That's going to come from a variety of sources. High school is a great way for that introduction. Higher education is a great way to further and build upon that. So when they leave those spaces, they are ready, prepared to do what those employers are asking of them. But the only way for that to happen is we're going to have to create some pipelines. And the pipeline that we're talking about is the classroom to boardroom pipeline. It is a great way to establish a concrete, comprehensive understanding of how we make sure that our youth go into the workspace with all the knowledge and experiences possible. All right, academia prioritizes standardized testing over survival skills. And it's okay, I'm cool with STEM, but STEM needs a couple of more letters. I'm cool with STEM. I think STEM is a great program, a great process, but it needs a couple of more letters. And 2 of those letters that I'm looking forward to adding to it is financial literacy. So we might be focusing on standardized testing, but we need to be making sure that we're focusing equally on survival skills. And that financial literacy is an umbrella, and there are a lot of things that can fit underneath that umbrella. But we got to start talking about it. And I'm so grateful to the fact that New York State has finally dived in the deep end and said, let's make sure that we're mandating it. So congratulations to the 2.4 million students across New York State and to my community of 24,000 students who are going to next year receive some very, very life-changing financial literacy academia understanding. So if you're not prepared, you're about to get ready. You're about to get ready to get prepared. So congratulations. So homelessness, and this is where that problem, when you don't prepare our children properly, what happens? They become homeless. And I know, as I said it before, and I said all the time to this generation, they are the most boisterous. They are the most opinionated. They are the most in-your-face generation ever known to man. And I'm grateful for that. I love the fact that they are letting us know their fears, but unfortunately, they're doing it with a little less tact. They're doing it with a lot more aggression. But if we can rein that in, if we can help them with navigating that space more effectively, we'll be able to end some of these atrocities going on. So homelessness, housing instability, 2.4 million youth, all right? 2.4 million youth are going through it. They are literally going through it. Adults experiencing homelessness annually. That's crazy. That is completely and utterly insane that we have that many youth experiencing something that they should never be experiencing. Never. Absolutely never be experiencing. It's sad that this is what's going on in the richest nation on the face of the planet. And we're living in the most prosperous time frame. But there are solutions. There are more than enough solutions. And it's our job to get in front of what we believe might be hindering our children or preventing adults from the sanctity of what we call decency when it comes to that workspace, when it comes to integrity, when it comes to accountability. We can resolve a lot of these problems. The question is, do we really want to? All right, 700,000 unoccupied minors. I mean, that for me, it really, unaccompanied, my apologies. For me, it's sad. It really, really is sad that we, as a nation of the United States of America, and are we doing enough? And that goes for both parties, Democrats as well as Republicans. Are you doing enough? 42.9 million U.S. households cost burdened by rent, 30+% of income. So 30+% of your income goes to where you live. So that means roughly 70% left over, but we're talking about after the fact. So if you're a single person, 50% of that is gone already in taxes. So that means you have 50%. Of that 50%, 30% of it is going to be snatched because it's going to be where you live. And I'm sure most of us want to live in a nice neighborhood, good schools, good roads, good parks, good libraries, all of the qualities that allow for us to have what we need. And in order for that to happen, guess what? We got to get in front of it. Financial literacy is a great way to get in front of it. Why? Oh, specifically, high poverty pocket within Westchester, extreme wealth. So that means we are living in a wealthy community, but there's still high poverty pockets within it. And as I said, personal responsibility is number one. And then once you have owned up to yours, the second part of that is to make sure that you understand what put you here. Where you have to always know, how did you get somewhere before anything else can happen? If you don't know how you got here, well, you're setting yourself up for further failure. So that's why it's important to have these discussions, to get with someone who understands that financial system, that financial structure, that opportunity is going to allow for you to do what you need to do. And I'm already telling you, if you do what you need to do, the beauty of it is is that you're going to be able to resolve any issues. Any issues. You're going to be able to resolve and solve any problems that might come up. And that's the beauty of being able to do what we do. All right. We have a pathway for any individual who's looking to resolve whatever those circumstances and situations may be. Anyone. We can help any financial situation. We can help any youth, any adult, any senior, anyone. The question is, do you want that help? Because if you do, I'm telling you right now, there's no better location, there's no better space, there's no better individual who knows almost as much as an economist knows when it comes to specific areas of with our community and how we can navigate that space far more successfully. All right. So let's talk about that wage stagnation in the middle class collapse. Yeah, the middle class that has built this nation. The middle class that did as much as it possibly could to make sure that this nation is as prosperous as it is. And what happened to the middle class? Got cut out, got put to the side. We watched it erode further and further and further and further and further. We watched the gap between the poor and the middle class get further apart. We watched the gap between middle class and the rich get further apart. We watched the class between middle class and the wealthy. And now we have a new class out there called the uber wealthy. The uber wealthy. Think about that for a second. We got a new class of rich people who have now amassed so much wealth that they are in their own category, the uber wealthy. While we live in a nation where we have rampant homelessness, while we have rampant unemployment and underemployment, while we have circumstances that could be eliminated just like that if more people decided to do the one thing that I'm going to keep advocating for and always keep saying, you have to tax the rich. You have to. And the only reason why I say that is because I did my homework. I did my research. I dived deep into the facts, the data, the evidence. All right. And I come with the receipts. We are not doing enough to make sure that the individuals, or at least our public, is doing what they need to be doing. And if we took just a little glimpse into what we could do, man, woof. But here you can see middle class dropped from 61 in the 70s to 51 in 2023. All right, that was 3 years ago. And trust me when I tell you, it's eroding even further. All right, 47 to 79 trillion transferred upwards from the bottom 90% since 1975. And these numbers are staggering. They are staggering. They are actually something that as I was doing the research, as I was exploring the understandings and the possibilities of what transpired, what I came across was mind-shattering. It was mind-shattering, mind-numbing, to be honest with you. And what did I do? Did I run from the problem? Nope. I tackled it. I took it head on. I said, all right, cool. You want me to understand what's going on? Well, I'm going to have to dive deeper into it. I'm going to have to go way back. Trust me when I tell you, way back, all the way to Nixon. And I can't wait for February to come because that's Black History Month. And what I have to show you on the 120 plus Black Wall Streets. Oh, man, you're in for a treat, ladies and gentlemen. You are in for a treat. And I am super happy to be able to accommodate. Oh, yes, I am. I am super happy to be able to allow for you to understand what we and how we are going to make sure, as I say over and over and over, make sure that you have what you need. If you give us that time, if you give us the opportunity, as Soul City is giving us the space, you're going to find what you need right here. And we're going to bring in new experts. We're going to bring in the good experts, the ones who can really help you navigate that tax space, the ones who can really help you navigate that investing space, the ones who can really help you navigate whatever that financial circumstance looks like. You want to open a business? We got you. You're looking to maybe become that serial entrepreneur? We got you. Whatever it is that you're looking to do, you're at the right space and you're in the right time. And I say it all the time. I was created for this very moment in history. So let's take a look at the typical worker's wage stagnated while cost of living skyrocketed. If you think that what we're talking about is not true, well, as I said, you will find out. And I'd rather you find out the easy way than finding out the hard way. I'd rather you now, as I said, 2024, 2025, that was preparation. 2026 is about executing your plan and your strategy. And if you don't have a plan, as Dr. Yarnaby always says, well, then you have a plan to fail. So if you need help with putting a plan together, please, by all means, send us those emails, send us those texts. If you need help with creating a strategy, send us those emails, send us those texts, jump on the phone. We can do what most can't because we know what most don't. Why? Because we've done our homework. We've dove deep into making sure that you are very well versed because we are very well versed. And once you know what to do, there's nothing that's going to stop you. So yes, wages have stagnated. And you know, as well as I know, if you're in that 30, 40, 50, about to be 60 myself age group, you know what I'm talking about. You've seen it. You're experiencing it. So get with the program. Because if you get with the program, I'm telling you, all the success that you are looking for is going to be there. Is going to be there. You just got to want it more than those who are presenting it to you. Youth entering adulthood at net negative momentum. All right, so they don't have the skills. And I keep saying it over and over. How do you get to skills if you haven't been given the opportunity? So our job is to create the opportunity. Once we create the opportunity, it's then to allow for our youth to demonstrate. And as they demonstrate, you're going to see God-given talents. You're going to see our most valuable resource step up to the plate. Because they're waiting for that opportunity. They're waiting for it. And I see it every single day when I enter into those schools. I see it every single day. They are showing me, they are telling me, how can we become better students? How can we become better adults? How can we make sure that we're going to do better than our parents, our grandparents, and our great-grandparents? Well, that's up to us, us professionals, or those who call themselves professionals. You do that, and guess what you're going to do? You're going to set these kids up for success. It's just that simple. But we have to decide what's more important. Is it more important to make sure the 1,000 heirs or the 100,000 heirs become millionaires? Is it more important to make sure that the millionaires become billionaires? Is it more important to make sure that the billionaires become trillionaires? Or is it more important to make sure that we live up to the promise that this nation has bestowed upon all of us? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I wish I could say I was making this stuff up, but I'm not. I'm telling it to you just like it's being told to me. I'm telling it to you just like it's being told to me. I'm telling it to you just like it's being. All right, I'm telling it to you just like it's being told to me, and just like I'm able to give it back out to you. I've done my research. The receipts, the data, the facts, and the evidence. The Wealth Lab is all about those things, making sure that you have. And we're going to continue to keep making sure that you have. That's it. That's how we're going to do it. All right. So the tax code as an extraction tool, and that's exactly what the tax code is. You'd be surprised. Again, the tax code grew from 400 pages to 75,000 plus pages. And these are primarily interpretations. So the rich have figured out using the tax loopholes to do what? To create even better opportunities for themselves. And I, as a single person, and I ask the IRS every single time tax season comes up, please audit me, please audit me, please audit me, audit me, because I'm going to go all the way back to when I was 13 or 14. And I'm going to ask him, how is it that a single person is paying that much in taxes? You mean to tell me that I have to pay upwards of 50% in taxes, 48 to 52%? That's my tax rate, 48 to 52% if you are single. That's insane. That is insane. That's why we call it an extraction tool. But 400 pages to 75,000 pages? Now, who do you think them 75 of those extra, 400, or excuse me, 74 or 74,600? Who do you think those extra 74,600 pages were for? Yeah, they were for the rich, to use even more loopholes, more loopholes, more loopholes. Single filers penalized most heavily. And I believe that. I strongly believe that. And I'm not going to get upset. I'm not going to get mad. I'm going to do my due diligence. I'm going to pay what's necessary, but I'm also going to let them know. Youth face higher marginal impact than married peers with twice income. And this is why our youth are always, oh, I don't want to work. I don't want to do this. Don't. One, they don't understand it. You have to participate. You have to get that job. Question is, how much of your resources can you keep for yourself? The complexities weaponized against the uninformed. When you don't know, you set yourself up for further abuse. So these are the times in which we have to now get well informed. And if we get informed, there's nothing that's going to stop us from doing the things that we need to do. All right, so Yonkers are reality versus Westchester's wealth. All right, so Yonkers' poverty rate is 14.7. And we just saw the national average was 10.4 to 10.8. Yonkers is 14.7. So our youth are going to go through it for a while until we can come down to at least the 10.4. But there are opportunities to even drop this even further. Our job is to understand who can help and who is going to be the hindrance. Westchester County median income is $118,000. Youth are disproportionately affected by job market volatility. And that's everywhere. That's not just here, that's everywhere. Students surrounded by wealth that cannot access or decode. That they cannot access or decode. All around them. They wake up in the morning. To our east, to our west. Wealth, 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 wealth that they will never be able to access or decode. Question isn't what can we do, is when do we want to start doing? And once we do, we're going to be good. They're going to be good. We're going to be good. All of our circumstances will start to show the experiment of these United States will work. But we have to do our part. We have to get in front of it. We have to be able to understand that we cannot block our kids from this success. We cannot. We can act like we're trying to. We can act like that they're not important, but they are. They're very much important. Our youth are the future leaders. They're those doctors. They're those lawyers. They're those police officers, those firefighters. They're those nurses, those teachers. They're those congressmen. All right? And one of them is going to be the president. So they have what we need. Unfortunately, do we have enough within us to give them what they need to be successful? I'm going to tell you right now, the Wealth Lab, we over here at Soul City, Yonkers Young Entrepreneurs, Leverage Credit Recovery, the real ones in the room, we are more than ready. More than ready. All right, so why financial literacy is now essential. Students unprepared to interpret pay stubs, contracts, credit reports. Okay, we're sending them into the world where all of this is important. When you get that page check, what are all of these deductions? If you don't understand those deductions, that's when frustration starts to set in. Once you start getting frustrated and that starts compounding, I tell everybody, stop compounding your frustration. I tell my students, stop compounding your homework. Start thinking about compounding that money. Lack of financial education feeds debt cycles, exploitation, and instability. It's essential for a reason. Because if we do what we need to do, our students get what they need. Our students go into adulthood and into that workspace fully prepared. All right, we always know there's going to be some hills and there's going to be some valleys, there's going to be some ebbs and there's going to be some flows, there's going to be some ups and there's going to be some downs. That's normal. But it shouldn't always be we get to a certain level, we take a dip, and then we're never able to recover from that dip. And the only reason why that happens is because of financial literacy. And as I said, financial literacy is an umbrella. And there is a lot that can fit underneath that financial literacy space. As I said, for me, I dove into the singular issue of credit. I found out that that is that's a challenging space to be in when it comes to helping individuals who may or may not really understand the conditions behind why their credit is what it is. But once you go through the practice, once you get the understanding of how you can navigate that space far more successfully, you'll do it and you'll never find yourself back in those conditions again. But first and foremost, you got to get that income. Got to get that income. And there are more than enough ways in today's society to make that income. You got to want it more than those who are presenting it to you. Financial literacy is a domestic threat to youth entering adulthood unprepared. Yes, it is. One way or another. Something's going to give or something's going to break. One way or another. And it's up to us, those academic professionals. It's up to us, parents, academia, and governance, to bridge those gaps so that we can make sure that the next generation is not saddled with the past failures. Because if we do, I'm already telling you, I know for a fact that it's more than possible. I've seen it within my own self. I've seen it with the individuals that I've been able to help. I'm now seeing it with the youth who are asking me on a daily basis, is there something that I can do? And I am more than happy to educate them, to put them through the rigors of understanding, oh, wow, okay, I can see that. I get it. In every single youth that I'm able to talk to, whether it be in Barack Obama, whether it be in Riverside, whether it be in YMA, whether it be in Sonia Sotomayor, whether it be in Enrico Fermi. It doesn't matter the school. William Boyce Thompson, School 18, which is now Ella Fitzgerald. It doesn't matter the location. Put me in front of these youth, they will get what they need, and we will get the adults that we need as well. But we're going to have to decide. We're going to have to decide. And I'm so happy, as I said before, that financial literacy is now being mandated here in New York State. I am super excited about that understanding. All right, so mandated shift. New York 2026 financial literacy law. New York State requires personal finance instructions across grades 5 through 12 by 2026-27. So ladies and gentlemen, yes, our kids are going to get what they need. I am super excited about that. And as I said before, we need to make sure that it is not the suit and tie guys that put us in this. We need the hat and tattoo guys. We need the ones that look like the community. We need the ones who understand the community in all of its facets so that we can set the groundwork for success. Because just to have JP Diamond or Jamie Dimon or Morgan Chase or Wells Fargo or Citibank or whoever that may look like to come in and hand out a leaflet, to maybe come in and give an hour ceremony, for what? To then turn their backs? If this is going to be done where you're going to get the biggest bang for your buck, which all financial people understand ROI, then we're going to have to do it. We're going to have to do it like we've never done it before. And I'm up to the challenge. All right, so New York State, again, all of our 2.4 million students, get prepared because it's on its way. All right, districts must demonstrate implementation. Okay, they must demonstrate now how and what are you prepared to do to make sure that this is successful for all of our children across Every school district, every neighborhood, it doesn't matter what type of school you have, an A school, B school, C school, D school, it doesn't matter. If we roll this out properly, if we do what we need to do properly, every school benefits. Every school benefits. Because when you start talking about a value topic like money and how it works, every school benefits. So opportunities for Yonkers to lead statewide, not simply comply. Yonkers, I'm calling out to you. I've been here for the last 10 years doing all of the research, getting all of the receipts, collecting as much data as possible, seeking out all the facts, findings, case studies. I am more than prepared. Question is, do you want someone like me in those classrooms doing what we know we need to be doing? Because if you do, sign me up. I'm ready. I'm already in there on a part-time basis doing as much as I can just to give that glimpse, that taste of what it could be. But put me in there on a full-time basis of subject matter that I'm already engaged in and very well versed on. Oh, yes, I know we can make it happen. All right, so the Wealth Lab, the mission and the vision, schoolroom, boardroom pipeline. That's what it is. Schoolroom, boardroom pipeline. We want to make sure that our kids leave the academic halls and are able to enter into those boardrooms ready to do what the employers need. Ready. We want to give them negotiation skills. We want to give them the ability to understand contracts. We want to give them the ability to understand what wages and how much taxes are being taken out. What can we do to supplement? We want to give them the ability to understand credit and credit reporting. We want to give them the ability to understand banking, give them the ability to understand trading and investing and all of those components that come part of how do you grow that wealth. We want to give you the understanding of that, as I said, those taxes, bringing in those professionals who can help you navigate that space far more successfully. There are so many components to this financial literacy space. I can't do it all. And that's why I've partnered with some of the best in the industry. All right, a full ecosystem, financial literacy, civics literacy, and market literacy. Yeah, we are in the situations that we are in because we don't know what we should know. Financial literacy is a small component to the larger picture of what you need to be or what you need to have to be a successful United States citizen or a citizen just in general. This goes for every country as well. Just because I'm talking directly about the United States, go to Germany, go to China, go to Japan, go anywhere across the globe. If you don't understand how money works, money is being used against you. If you don't understand how civics works, civics is being used against you. And if you definitely don't understand how the markets work, well, the markets are going to be used against you. So it's now time. Question is, how much of that time are you going to make? How much of that time are you going to commit to doing what you need to be doing? And that goes for all age groups. I know our young ones from that pre-K up to about that 8th grade, well, we should start introducing to them as well. Who's on the face of a penny? Who's on the face of a nickel? Who's on the face of a dime? How much change do you get back? While we're teaching the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s, let's also teach that money management understanding as well. We're already sending them to the stores on those chores, and we're hoping that they come back with the right change. So we're doing a small piece. Now we need to bridge that gap between what mom, dad, and caregivers and loved ones is doing in that household, and now make sure that it's happening across all ranges, academia, higher education, and into that workspace. I've said it before, and I'm going to constantly keep saying it as life goes on. If we can mandate sexual harassment, then I'm glad that we are now, and we should be mandating it nationally, that financial literacy is also mandated. All right, so equip youth to earn, manage, protect, and multiply resources. To earn it first, the average millionaire has 7 income streams. The average worker has 1. To manage it, we manage it properly, and then what we're able to do is we're able to do what we need to do. It's just that simple. We manage it properly. Managing is the best part of what you have as a structure to make sure that you're doing things the right way by managing it accordingly. After we manage it, we got to protect it. We got to make sure that our things are being done in the manner in which that we can see growth. And then we're going to multiply it. We're going to multiply it for ourselves, and then we're going to go out into the community and make sure that the community has it. And we're going to make sure that it's not just held close to our chest, but that we're sharing it within all communities, not just our African American community, but our Hispanic communities, our Middle Eastern community, our Asian communities, whatever that demographic may look like, we need to share it amongst, because if we do, that is what gives us back that control that Congress believes it has over us. But as I said, it's not up to me. My job is to give you the information. Once I give you the information, I'll take on anyone who wants to see themselves move into that next location or that next genre or that next, whatever that might look like for you. All right. So the program Phyllis, Financial Foundation. All right. So ninth graders, budgeting with real Yonkers cost of living data. So if we're going to help, this is how we're going to do it. This is how we're going to make sure that from ninth grade on, these are the things that we can start doing already. And I hope that as we mandate it, these are some of the items that they're going to be focusing on. So budgeting with real Yonkers cost of living. And this goes for every single city, every single municipality. It doesn't matter. I'm calling out or gearing this more towards where I live, but this is something that can be duplicated across multiple platforms. All right. Introduce taxes, banking, credit, wages, benefits. All of those things that our youth need to start knowing prior to. There's nothing worse than I was watching something on YouTube, and it was so funny. I watched this kid. He was so happy. He got into the car, and he's driving down. He was so happy. He's getting his paycheck. His parents was like, yeah, you about to get paid, son. And he's got a smile on his face. He's so happy. He gets to the job, pulls up. He runs in. He comes out, he opens that check in the car, and you can see that huge smile that was on his face from ear to ear just drop. Like, what the heck? I just worked X, Y, and Z, and this is all I'm getting? I came to this location, got a job, and started working, and I worked so many hours, but nobody prepared him and told him about taxes. Nobody prepared him and told him these are the deductions. So he was thinking, if I'm working, then I should be getting all my money, which he did. He got all of it, but he didn't know nothing about the deductions. So if we get in front of these things now, there's not going to be any surprises. When you start putting your money away into the banks, why are they giving us back such the lowest percentage? And I've had this conversation with multiple individuals that the bank keeps a large share of your profit, not your money, but your profit. Okay, your money's still there, but they're keeping the majority of the profit. And you think that they're doing what, again, they're going out and lifting buildings or however one wants to put this into a context. No, that money sits there and they trade it. They trade it. And if they make a mistake, if they, oops, we did it again type of situation, then they have the United States government to bail them out. That's why you have that FDIC sticker on every single door. I used to think the FDIC sticker was for the general, the bank robber, the one who comes in there, stick him up. No, that's not for him. That's not for them. That's for the bank. If the bank makes a huge mistake in a trade, and once you learn that aspect of, I'm telling you, credit, making sure that you understand your credit needs to be top tier. Your credit is your reputation. And if your reputation doesn't look accordingly, then all your opportunities that could be there probably won't be there. So you have to protect your reputation. Wages, as we already know. The average millionaire has one income stream. The average worker has, the average millionaire has 7 income stream. The average worker has 1 through their wages. And those wages, our employers has already told us, we're not going any higher than 15.10, if I'm not mistaken, here in Yonkers, depending on where you live in New York State, up to 17. Federal government has already told you as well, 7.25, and it's been that way since 2009. So this is not new. None of this is new. It's always been out there. Our job is to make sure that we understand it. Understanding generalization. Generational wealth extraction patterns. How is our money always being snatched or taken away? Well, you get it, taxes, boom, gone. Then you have to do what you have to do with the remainder. 50% of that is going to be where you live. So you're now focusing on 25%. That 25% has to make it. It has to make it through 30 days or however that may look for you if you're getting paid once a month, like we did in the military, or if you're getting paid bi-weekly, as most of us do, or if you're getting paid weekly. But you have to know how that works. And by the end of whatever those weeks may look like, whatever those months may look like, what's left over? And we already know there's barely anything to survive off of or to invest. So you have to create multiple income streams. So wealth is being extracted, but it could also be put right back into the hands of those who could benefit from it. But you have to know how it works. All right, so that's 9th grade. Let's take a look at the 10th grade pillar. Credit and contracts, credit reporting, scores, disputes, which I like to call challenges, understanding the Fair Credit Reporting Act rights. There are 5 different rights that we have that we are protected under. But if you don't know them, you don't have them. Student loan, auto loan, predatory products. Okay, subprime market. They created another market just for those who have less than 600, or I would say less than 650. They created something called a subprime market where you're going to get hit with the highest interest. Then they got something called payday loans where they're taking thousands of percentages. All right, they created a whole new ecosystem for individuals who have less than perfect credit. So why not get on the perfect credit stream? Why are we giving more for no reason? So this is something that we could start with giving our 10th graders the understanding of. How to read leases, employment contracts, hidden clauses. So you get this, you get the first part in the 9th grade, you bounce over to the 10th grade, and we fill you in on this. All right, look what it looks like for our 11th graders. All right, we start teaching the market. We start teaching trading. Trading versus investing, the difference. Trading is the job. Investing is the retirement. Trading is the job. Investing is the retirement. That's not hard to understand. Knowing how the market does what it does, and you are participating in it on a regular basis, you're talking about 25, 50, 100, 500,000 percentages that you can do on your own, but you have to know how. If you can do it on your own, you create leverage. So when you do start making a pretty penny, and yes, everything is risky. Everything is risky. All right. Stop thinking, well, there's so much risk in that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, when you woke up this morning with all that snow that came down across the East Coast, everything is risky. Everything. So we have to stop equating one risk more than another risk. Everything is risky. The thing you have to understand is, how do I manage it more effectively? Because when you give your money to somebody, a lending institution or a financial institution, you don't think they have the same risk? They do. So that risk shouldn't equate to you being extracted more of fees. They're doing it per a computer. They're not out there beating the streets, trying to make your money work in that manner where they got so much labor involved in it. No, they're sitting behind a cushy desk, or they're sitting behind a desk in a cushy chair. My apologies. All right. Zone trading strategies, accumulation, accumulation demand, distribution supply, support resistance, break of structure. That's our basic understanding of how and what moves the market. Something has to be in demand. In order for it to be in demand, there has to be accumulation. People have to want it. Once they start inquiring, there's the accumulation. Then it becomes a demand. After it reaches a certain level and it can't go anymore, it's going to be distributed, and then that price is going to fall. Break of structure, or support and resistance is what we associate with our dwellings. The floor is the support, the roof is the ceiling is the resistance. Once you can find out how they are broken, you can follow the markets and you can do exactly what banks do, financial institutions do. But you have to want to know what they do. Because if you do, I'm already telling you, success, success, success. Institutional versus retail money. So the big money is what they have, and we are the retail money. But I tell everybody the same way that I tell anyone is that as long as you are a little minnow and you try to get in front of the big fish, don't be surprised that you get eaten up. So the thing that you want to really focus on is getting behind the big fish. All right, risk management, taxation of gains. That's for our 11th graders. Now, you see that trajectory? Oh, now your brain is like, ooh, man, I'm going to be so good when I now graduate. And let's compound that with making sure that we have employment situations that are going to allow from you from 9th grade to already start getting employed so that you can get 4 years of. And we want to start this even in the 8th grade. 8th graders having, again, you don't need to leave your location, CEOs or CFOs or presidents. You don't need to leave your locations. You could do video conferencing just like we're doing right here. We should be using technology for the benefits of making sure that our youth have versus using it for other means to throw out more propaganda. All right, so that's what our 11th grade pillar looks like. Let's take a look at our 12th grade pillar. And here you have it. So the 12th grade pillar, boardroom readiness. All right, salary negotiation. Learn how to sit down in front of somebody now that you've been working for a while and negotiate your income, your salary. Business creation, entrepreneurship fundamentals. Simple, easy. Business creation, you say, hey, you know what? I like fashion and I'm ready to create some apparel. I like technology and I'm ready to write some codes. I like whatever that might look like, be a musician, be an athlete, whatever that might look like for you. Well, there's the business creation and the entrepreneurial fundamentals. Whatever that looks like for you, but you got to go through those first 3 stages to get to this stage here. Professional etiquette, documenting intellectual property, understanding how to navigate these spaces, making sure that when you create something or you're contributing to something, that it's not all given to those because that's the company and the company keeps all of your intellectual property, knowing how to make sure that you also equally walk away with a paycheck as that company benefits off of your idea or profits off of your idea. Long-term financial planning, 3, 5, 10-year plans. In the 12th grade, start planning out prior to, so you can make those necessary adjustments as you reach into that higher education. You're going to know well before, am I going to be able to afford college? Is mom, dad, caregiver, loved ones credit okay so that I won't have to when time comes that I have to now, because someone got ill or something happened within that family structure, that I now have to remove myself from my goal of being a college grad. So that 12th, or it's going to be that 9th grade pillar all the way up to that 12th grade pillar. That's just a glimpse. There's so much more that we can still put into that space. Let's look at the AI coding and the digital exploitation. All right? AI is not going anywhere, folks. It is here to stay. It is not going anywhere. It is here to stay. And it will stay with us as long as we need it. As long as we think we don't need it, it will always still be part of our process. So I know that we are wrapping this up, and I believe that this may have to be a 2 series. I believe that this may have to, and there's no belief in it, is going to have to be a 2 series. We're going to have to extend this into next week because this is important. How do we make sure that our youth are not inheriting our mistakes from the past? And if we do our part, ladies and gentlemen, if we get in front of the things that we need to get in front of, guess what our youth get? They get the best of what this nation has promised all of us. It's not just in my hands. I'm just one person who has a wealth of information and a wealth of knowledge. And I know that there are more individuals, Nat from Soul City, Dr. Yana B from Access Wealth Nation, Eridita Anderson. There's a host, Antonio Kenyatta. These are just the individuals that I'm naming out. Sam Manning, our grant writer. I mean, I can go on and on and on and on. We have the individuals who are ready and able to step in. The question is for you, academic facilities. Are you ready to take us on? All right. So as always, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for making time. My sincerest apologies for the computer and the issues with technology, but that's what happens when you're running a live show, and I enjoy what I do. I love it to the fullest. Every day that I get to talk to someone, every Tuesday that I get to be in front of you, and also equally at the library where I do my workshops, I am always available. So please do not hesitate to send us an email. Please do not hesitate to text, whatever that might look like to you. But as always, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for making time, and be safe, America.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.